My name is Clyde. I'm 82 years old, and I want to tell you about a woman I didn't deserve, about a woman who lived with me for 56 years, about a woman I truly saw only after her death. Her name was Beverly, and she was the best thing that happened in my life, and I didn't see it. 56 years and I didn't see it. I was stubborn all my life. Born stubborn, grew up stubborn, and became even more stubborn in old age. I always knew what was right. Always had an opinion. Always was sure that others simply didn't understand, especially Beverly, a small, quiet woman with brown eyes who never argued with me. I thought it's because I'm right, that she acknowledges my wisdom, that she understands. A man knows better. God, what a fool I was. We met in 1966. I was 26, she was 22. She worked as a secretary in the office where I came for an interview. I saw her at the typewriter, so small, focused, with her hair pulled back in a ponytail, and I couldn't take my eyes off her. She looked up, smiled at me, and I was lost. We got married a year later. I was sure I was doing her a favor, a man with ambitions, with plans, with a future. And she, a simple girl from a small town in Kentucky. I thought I was taking her to a better life, that she should be grateful to me. Never said it out loud, but I thought it. And she probably felt it for 56 years. The first years were hard. I worked 2 jobs trying to make it. Beverly also worked, kept the house, and then the children were born. First Robert, 2 years later Nancy, 3 years after that Joseph. 3 children, a small apartment in Cleveland, and me, coming home tired and irritated. She did everything herself, everything. Children, cleaning, cooking, laundry, and she also worked part-time until the youngest went to school. I'd come home, eat dinner, watch the news, and go to bed. Sometimes I didn't even ask how her day went. Why? What could have happened? She's just home with the kids. That's not real work. I remember one evening about 30 years ago. She was sitting in the kitchen crying. The children were already asleep. I came in to get water and saw her with red eyes with a napkin in her hands. I asked, "What happened?" She said, "Nothing, just tired." And I said, "Well, then go to sleep." And I left. Didn't hug her, didn't sit next to her, didn't ask why she was really crying. Because I thought women's whims, that time of the month, some nonsense. Real problems, those are at work. And at home, what could be serious there? She never cried in front of me again. Never, 50 years after that evening. I thought, see, there was nothing serious. It passed on its own. Now I understand. She just learned to hide, learned to cry when I wasn't looking, learned to carry everything herself because there was no support from me. My relatives didn't love her. My mother thought I could have found better. My sister constantly made remarks to her, how she cooks, how she cleans, how she raises the children. I never stood up for her. Never. I thought, well, it's true, she could do better. I didn't see how Beverly clenched her hands under the table, how she stayed silent, swallowing insults, how later at home she pretended everything was fine. Once, just once, she said to me, "Clyde, it hurts when your mother talks like that." I answered, "She doesn't mean harm, she just wants things to be better, don't exaggerate," and Beverly fell silent, never complained again, and I considered it a victory. See, we sorted it out. No drama. How blind I was, how cruel, without even knowing it. Beverly supported me in everything, in all my crazy ideas. When I decided to quit a stable job and open my own business, she said, "If you believe in it, I'm with you." The business failed after 2 years. We lost all our savings. I was crushed, humiliated, angry at the whole world. I yelled at her, at the kids, at the dog. And she quietly said, "It's okay. We'll try again. We'll manage." I never thanked her for that. Never said, "Beverly, thank you for believing in me, for staying when everything fell apart." I just took it for granted, as something a wife must do. Supporting her husband, that's her duty. What's there to thank for? Robert, our eldest, once told me, it was already after Beverly's funeral, "Dad, did you know that Mom knew about my divorce 2 years before I told you?" I didn't know. I thought he told us at the same time. Turned out no. He came to her first, because he knew she wouldn't yell, wouldn't judge, would just listen. Nancy told me the same thing. When she had problems with her first pregnancy, doctors said there might be a miscarriage. She called Mom, not me, because Mom said, "Breathe, sweetheart. Whatever happens, we'll get through this together." I learned about these problems only years later. My daughter was afraid to tell me, afraid I'd say something wrong, or that I simply wouldn't understand. Joseph, my youngest, he couldn't find himself for a long time. Dropped out of university, changed jobs, lived with us until 30. I constantly pressured him, said, pull yourself together, be a man, find a normal job. And Beverly, she quietly said, he'll find his way. Give him time. I was angry at her, thought she's spoiling him, indulging him, doesn't see that he's just lazy. After the funeral, Joseph told me, Dad, Mom saved my life. There were times when I wanted to disappear. Just disappear, and only she kept me afloat. Those conversations of hours in the kitchen late at night when you were already asleep. She listened to me for hours. She said, you'll manage, I believe in you. Quiet, don't worry, calm down, we'll figure it out. I didn't know that my wife was pulling him out of the darkness while I slept. Didn't know because she never said, carried it herself like she carried everything else. Those words, quiet, don't worry, calm down, I heard them thousands of times when I came home angry from work, when the children were sick, when bills piled up, when neighbors annoyed me, when I yelled at the television. She'd come up, put her hand on my shoulder and quietly say, quiet, Clyde, calm down. We'll figure it out. I thought she just doesn't understand the seriousness of the situation. Thought easy for her to say calm down, she's not the one who has to solve problems. I didn't see that this was wisdom, that she was giving me an anchor in the storm, that without these words I would have broken long ago. Beverly died 3 years ago, cancer. From diagnosis to the end, 4 months. 4 months during which I tried to make up for 56 years. Too little time, too late. Last week she hardly spoke, had no strength, but her eyes, her brown eyes, looked at me the same way as that day in the office when we first met, with warmth, with love, with forgiveness for everything I didn't deserve. I held her hand when she was going, the small hand that held on to me for 56 years, that cooked me food, washed my clothes, ironed my shirts, that hugged our children, that wiped their tears, that made our house a home. And I never said thank you, never said sorry. Never said, you're the best thing I have. After the funeral, I started going through her things. In the closet behind the shoe boxes, I found diaries, 15 notebooks. She wrote all her life and I didn't know, didn't ask, wasn't interested. I read those diaries for 3 days, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, just read and cried. For the first time in decades, cried like a child. Everything was there. Her fears that she hid, her loneliness in our marriage, nights when she lay next to me and felt absolutely alone, her pain from my words, those I didn't even remember but she wrote down, how I said dinner was tasteless and she cried in the kitchen, how I forgot her birthday and she pretended she didn't care, how I called her idea stupid in front of guests and she was ashamed for a whole month. But there was also love there, so much love. For me, despite everything. For the children, for life. For small things. First snow, the smell of coffee in the morning, how children laugh. She saw beauty where I saw only problems. In one entry, a year before her death, she wrote, today Clyde brought me flowers just because, for no reason, I'm so happy I can't breathe, he still loves me. I remember those flowers, bought them at a gas station on the way home. Didn't even choose, just took the first bouquet I saw. 5 minutes that cost me nothing, and for her it was everything. She kept those flowers dried. I found them in her Bible, how little she needed, and how little I gave. My children now tell me about her. Things I didn't know. How she helped them with homework when I watched football. How she went to all their school plays, even when I said it was a waste of time. How she set aside money from her savings to buy them what they wanted, because she knew I'd say too expensive. She was their safe place, a place where they weren't judged, where they were loved as they are, where their problems were important and their feelings real. She created this for them because I couldn't or didn't want to or simply didn't think it was necessary. I remember one night about 30 years ago, I woke up and Beverly wasn't in bed. I found her in the kitchen. She was sitting at the table and praying, quietly, barely audible. I asked what she was doing. She said, praying for our family. For you, for the children, for us. I said in the middle of the night, can't you do this in the morning, and went asleep. Didn't even thank her, didn't even sit next to her. She was praying for me and I was irritated that she wasn't in bed. How many nights did she sit like that? How many prayers for me, for the children, for our life? I never knew, never asked. Now I'm 82. I live alone in the house where we lived the last 40 years. Her chair still stands in the same place. Her cup, the one with flowers that she loved, is still on the shelf. I can't remove her things, can't close this chapter. Every morning I wake up and for the first seconds I think she's nearby, and then I remember. And the pain is as sharp as 3 years ago. Doesn't dull, doesn't weaken, because it's not just grief, it's regret. Regret for everything I didn't say. Didn't do, didn't see. I talk to her every day. I sit in the chair, look at her photograph and say, "Beverly, I was a fool. Forgive me. I love you. I miss you so much." I say these words again and again as if hoping she'll hear. That the unsaid will finally be said, but she won't hear because I didn't say it when I could, when she was alive, when it mattered. If you're listening to this now and you have someone you love but you don't tell them, for God's sake, tell them. Today, now, don't wait until it's too late. Don't think they already know. Maybe they do, but they need to hear it. Tell your wife that she's important, that you see everything she does, that you're grateful. Tell her she's wise even if you don't always agree. Tell her that without her your life would be empty. And not just with words, with action. Sit next to her when she cries, ask how her day went and listen to the answer. Don't interrupt. Don't give advice, just listen. She doesn't want you to solve her problems, she wants you to hear them. I didn't do this for 56 years. 56 years I thought I knew better, that my problems were more important, that her worries trifles. And she carried our home on her shoulders, carried me, carried the children. Carried everything and never complained. You know what kills me the most? I never said sorry to her, for all those times when I was wrong, for all the words that hurt, for all the evenings when I ignored her, for the years when she was alone in our marriage. I was too proud, too confident, too blind to see that I stood next to the best person I knew and hurt her every day. Now I say sorry to the walls, say sorry to her photograph, say sorry to the sky when I go outside, but she doesn't hear because she's not here, and I'm left with my sorry that nobody needs. If you recognize yourself in my story, if you're the one who's always right, who doesn't know how to apologize, who thinks he knows better, stop. Look at the person next to you. Really look. See what she does for you. See how she loves you. See how hard it is for her sometimes. And tell her, say, "I see you, I value you. Forgive me for everything I did wrong." These words, they cost nothing, but they can cost everything. Beverly deserved a better husband, a better life. More love, more attention, more simple words that would warm her heart. She deserved flowers not from a gas station once a year, but every week. Deserved hugs when it was hard for her. Deserved a husband who would say, "Tell me everything. I'm here. I'm listening." She didn't get this because I didn't give it. And now I live with this knowledge every day until the end of my life. 82 years, and I finally understood what real strength is. Real strength is not being right. It's admitting you were wrong. Real strength is not keeping everything under control. It's allowing someone to be near. Real strength is saying, "Sorry, I was wrong. You're everything to me." Beverly had this strength. I didn't. I was weak, though all my life I thought I was strong. If you're a man listening to this, a man who thinks his work and problems are more important than women's, look at your wife. Look at how she balances between you and the children, how she deals with your relatives, how she keeps the house, how she works, raises, cooks, cleans, and all this with a smile. Look at her and bow down, because she does the impossible every day. And then go up to her, hug her and say, "Thank you. I see how hard it is for you. I want to help. Sorry I didn't see this earlier." These words can change your marriage, your life, her life. Don't wait 50 years like me. Don't wait until she's gone. Say it now. My name is Clyde Richardson. I'm 82 years old. I lived 56 years with the best woman in the world and didn't deserve a single day with her. She loved me despite everything. And I realized how I loved her only when she left. Don't be like me. Love out loud, think out loud, apologize out loud. While there's time, while there's someone to tell. Beverly, if you can hear me where you are now, I love you, always loved you. I was just too foolish to say it. Forgive me for everything. And thank you for everything. I'll come to you soon, and then I'll tell you everything. Everything I should have said 50 years ago. And for now, I just miss you. Every day, every minute. You know what I do every Sunday? I go to the cemetery, sit by her grave and tell her about the week, about the children, about the grandchildren, what's happening in the world. Sometimes I bring her flowers, the ones she loved, daisies, not from a gas station, real ones from a flower shop. Now I know which ones she loved. Didn't know for 56 years, and now I know. I sit there for hours, talk, sometimes cry. People walk by and look, an old man sitting by a grave mumbling something. Let them look, I don't care. This is the only time when I feel she's near, when I can tell her what I should have been saying all my life. Last Sunday I told her, Beverly, remember how you wanted to go to Paris, dreamed about it all your life. And I said, too expensive, why waste money? I'm saving now, every month. Next year I'll go, alone. And I'll look at the Eiffel Tower for both of us. Too late, but I'll go. She always wanted to see Paris. Cut out pictures from magazines, kept them in a box. I found that box after her death. Hundreds of pictures. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, little cafes on narrow streets, her dream in a shoe box. Because I never found the time and money to make it come true. Money, funny. Now I have money. Pension, savings, everything we saved for later. And later didn't come for her, came only for me. And I don't need this money, I need her. My grandchildren sometimes come to visit. 5 of them, 3 from Robert, 2 from Nancy. Joseph isn't married yet. They come and I look at them and see Beverly, in their eyes, in their smiles, and how they laugh. She lives in them, her kindness, her patience, her love. She passed this to them, not me. One of the granddaughters, Emily, she's 18, recently told me, Grandpa, Grandma told me about you when I was little. She said you're the strongest man she knows, that you always protect the family, that she feels safe when you're around. I couldn't breathe. She said that about me. After everything, I asked, what else did she say? And Emily said that you don't know how to show love with words, but she knows you love her. Because you always come home, because you work for us, because you stay even when it's hard. Beverly saw better in me than I was, saw it all her life, and told the grandchildren, the children, everyone except me. Because she knew I wouldn't hear, that I'd brush it off. That I'd say some nonsense instead of hugging her and saying thank you. She knew me better than I knew myself, loved me more than I deserved, and protected me from myself even when I didn't ask for it. Now I'm trying to be what she saw in me. Better, kinder, more attentive. When Robert calls, I listen. Really listen, not waiting for him to finish so I can say my piece. When Nancy cries, I don't say calm down. I say, tell me everything. I'm here. Too late, maybe, but better late than never. That's what Beverly used to say. Better late than never, Clyde. There's always time to become better. She was right, as always, and I, as always, understood it too late. I want to say one more thing. If you have a wife who holds everything on her shoulders, who never complains, who always says everything's fine, don't believe it. Ask deeper. Sit next to her and say, I want to know the truth. How are you really? What's worrying you? How can I help? And when she tells you, listen. Don't interrupt. Don't say it's trifles. Don't say you're exaggerating. Just listen. Hold her hand. Be there. That's all she needs. Not problem solving, not advice, presence, attention, love. Beverly never asked for this because she knew I wouldn't give it. She adapted to me instead of demanding what she deserved. She reduced her needs to the size I could give, and I didn't even notice. You know what I realized in these 3 years without her? You can be right about everything, can have 1,000 arguments, can win every argument, can prove your point with iron logic. But is it worth it when your wife is crying? I won so many arguments, proved I was right so many times, and each time she quietly went to the kitchen, or to the bedroom, or to the bathroom. Now I would give everything, all my victories, all my being right, all my I told you so for one evening when I would just say, you're right, Beverly. Sorry, I was wrong. 3 words. 3 simple words that I didn't say in 56 years. Men were so afraid of being wrong, so afraid of looking weak. We think that admitting a mistake is losing. That saying sorry is humiliating ourselves. That giving in is losing respect. But I'll tell you the truth I understood too late. Real strength is not in winning. Real strength is in hugging her when she cries, even if you think you're right, even if you're sure you're right, even if the whole world says you're right. Because what good is being right if she's crying? What good are those arguments if she's hurting? What good is that victory if you've lost her heart? I remember one argument. It was about 20 years ago. We were arguing about something stupid. I don't even remember what, but I remember her face. She was standing by the window, and I kept talking, kept explaining, kept proving. She was silent, and I kept proving. And when I finished, when I laid out all my arguments, when I was absolutely 100% sure I was right, she just said, "Okay, Clyde, you're right," and left. I won. Right. I proved my point. She agreed, victory. But that night she slept on the very edge of the bed, as far from me as she could. And the next day she smiled, cooked breakfast, lived on, as if nothing happened. And I didn't even ask if everything was okay, because in my head everything was already okay. I won after all. How many such nights were there? How many times did she sleep on the edge of the bed? How many tears did I not wipe because I was too busy being right? Now I sleep alone, in a huge bed where her half is always cold, and I would give everything for her to be here on her half, even on the very edge, even if she'd cry because of me again, because then I could come up, hug her, say, "Sorry, I'm a fool, don't cry, I love you more than being right." But she's not here, and I'm saying this to an empty bed, an empty house, an empty heart. Men who are listening to this, if you argued with your wife today, go to her. Now, not tomorrow, not later now. Put your hand on her shoulder, look into her eyes and say, "I don't care who's right, I care that you're hurting. Sorry, this isn't weakness. This is love. Real, mature, manly love. The kind that puts her heart above your ego, her tears above your arguments, her peace above your victory." Beverly, I'm coming to you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And when I come, I'll finally tell you everything, without fear, without pride, without this foolish ego that prevented me all my life. And for now, I'll remember, I'll love, I'll cry, and I'll tell others what I didn't tell you. Maybe at least someone will hear. Maybe at least someone won't repeat my mistakes. Maybe at least one woman today will hear from her husband what she should have heard always. This will be my apology, my gift to you, my attempt to fix what cannot be fixed. I love you, Beverly. Always loved you, just didn't know how to say it.